Sarah had always craved solitude, the kind only nature could offer. The lake on the edge of town, nestled between whispering pines and rolling hills, was her sanctuary. Her family's small plot of land, inherited from her grandfather, held memories of childhood summers fishing with her brothers, roasting marshmallows, and dreaming under the stars. The deed to that land, tucked safely in her glove box, was her proof of belonging. At 32, after a grueling divorce and a soul-crushing job loss, Sarah pitched her tent by the lake to reclaim that peace. It was her reset, her rebellion against a world that had worn her down. But peace was fleeting. The Homeowners Association, led by the infamous Karen Whitaker, had other plans. Karen, a self-appointed guardian of neighborhood aesthetics, ruled the nearby gated community with an iron grip. Her pristine lawn, her perfectly trimmed hedges, her relentless need for control was legendary. Sarah's tent, a humble green canvas blending into the lakeside, was an affront to Karen's vision of order. That evening, as Sarah sat by her campfire, the crunch of gravel announced trouble. Karen stormed toward the tent, her designer heels sinking into the soft earth, her phone already in hand. "You can't camp here," Karen barked, her voice sharp enough to slice through the dusk. "This is private property, and I'm calling 911. Sarah stood, heart pounding but voice steady. "This is my land, Karen. My family's owned it for decades." Karen scoffed, her eyes narrowing. "We'll see about that. You're ruining the view for the community." She dialed, her manicured nails clicking against the screen, and within minutes, red and blue lights flickered in the distance. Sarah's stomach twisted, but she held her ground, the deed's weight in her mind anchoring her resolve. Officer Daniels arrived, a tired man in his 50s who'd dealt with Karen's calls before. He listened as Karen ranted about property values and vagrants. Sarah calmly handed him the deed, her grandfather's faded signature a testament to her claim. Daniels scanned it, nodded, and turned to Karen. "Ma'am, she's within her rights. This is her land." Karen's face flushed crimson. "This is outrageous. The HOA will hear about this." She stormed off, leaving Sarah with a fleeting sense of victory. But something in Karen's glare promised this wasn't over. The next morning, Sarah awoke to a new nightmare. A tow truck loomed near her tent, and a man in a reflective vest was chaining her beat-up sedan. Karen stood nearby, smirking, flanked by 2 HOA board members. "You didn't think I'd let this go, did you?" she called. "Your car's on our access road. It's being towed." Sarah's blood boiled. The access road, a narrow strip connecting her land to the main street, had always been shared, a handshake agreement from her grandfather's time. But Karen had rallied the HOA, claiming the road was theirs. Sarah's car was gone before she could argue, impounded at a lot 20 miles away. Fury replaced fear. Sarah wasn't just fighting for her tent. She was fighting for her dignity, her family's legacy. She drove her brother's borrowed truck to the county records office, where she unearthed a survey map buried in dusty archives. The map, dated 1978, showed the access road as part of her property, a detail her grandfather had never needed to enforce. Armed with this, Sarah hatched a plan. That evening, she parked the truck across Karen's driveway, blocking her gleaming SUV. Karen emerged, apoplectic, threatening another 911 call. But Sarah was ready. She held up the survey map and the deed, her voice steady as steel. "This road is mine, Karen. You towed my car, so I'm blocking your drive until I get it back. Call the cops. I dare you." The standoff drew neighbors, phones out, recording the drama. Officer Daniels returned, sighing as he reviewed the map. "She's right, Ms. Whitaker. The road's hers." Karen's jaw dropped, her authority crumbling before the crowd. Sarah's car was released the next day, but the victory felt hollow. Then came the twist. Among the onlookers was Mrs. Ellis, a quiet widow who'd lived in the community for 40 years. She approached Sarah later, her voice trembling. "Your grandfather helped my husband build our home when we had nothing. Karen's been bullying everyone, but no one fights back. You did." Mrs. Ellis revealed she'd kept letters from Sarah's grandfather, detailing his kindness to the community letters that shamed the HOA's current reign. She handed them to Sarah, her eyes glistening. "Use these. Stop her." Sarah shared the letters online, exposing Karen's overreach and sparking a community uproar. The HOA board, humiliated, forced Karen to step down. But the cost was steep. Sarah's tent, once a symbol of freedom, now felt like a target. She packed it up, unable to shake the bitterness of a community fractured by pettiness. The lake, her refuge, was tainted by the fight. As she drove away, the deed on the passenger seat, Sarah wondered if justice was worth the scars. She'd won, but at what price? The neighbors who'd cheered her on had already returned to their lives, leaving her to carry the weight alone. What would you do when faced with a Karen who wields power without mercy? Share your thoughts on justice, community, or the cost of standing up.